A blessed day everyone! Ako nga po pala sa Teacher Lumaban. Ang pag-uusapan po natin ay ang applied entrepreneurship, recognizing a potential market by screening and selecting the best product that will meet at may posibilidad na hindi mo na kailangan mag-advertise kasi ang gumagamit dito ang mag-advertise na ng product mo kasi na-satisfy mo sila. when the product is able to create value for the market.
We've already discussed how the product safeguard against spending considerable time into developing a product that the target market needs or don't like. During the process you may discover that the market really value an important piece of functionality that's currently missing in the minimum viable product. We included an extra feature in the minimum viable product that the market don't particularly utilize. Don't be intimidated by the word prototype. The minimum viable product doesn't have to be a fully fleshed out product, since product fidelity and interactivity will vary for each business idea. The minimum viable product prototype will act as a representation of the finished product without requiring to completely build the final product. The minimum viable product prototype exists to help test the hypothesis by offering market an iteration of the product to interact with and offer feedback on. For example, having a mock-up of an app's interface, like a wireframe, is just as viable as building the actual app itself. At the end of the day, it's about staying lean, so we can easily react to the feedback we receive from customers. It isn't very efficient to invest considerable time and effort into building a finished product if you have to drastically change the product or pivot down the road. The sixth step to determine the viability is getting the minimum value product in the market. Once the iteration of the minimum value product is satisfactory, it is time to test in with the target market. The feedback received will be used as contributory in guiding the direction of the product. The integrity of the data is essential in this final step. From the start, use only elicit feedback from people who fit the criteria of the target market. If not careful, it could risk iterating the product in the wrong direction to meet the needs of the market who might not necessarily be in the market for the product. To prevent this, consider designing a survey or questionnaire to make sure it's identifying research participants. At the end of each test, Be sure to look at both the positive and negative feedback received and take notice of any patterns in the responses and behaviors of each user who interacted with the product. Reflections, pivots, and iterations in determining the viability. The overall process for achieving product market fit is an ongoing process. It may find that the initial assumptions about the product, the market opportunity, or even the target market may not hold true after each iteration of the lean product process. As long as it stays persistent and receptive to the feedback of the market, it will be on the right track to developing a product with strong market opportunity. Once it determined that the product has achieved adequate product market fit, the next logical step is to figure out a viable go-to-market strategy and get the product in front of as many customers as possible. The next factor we will discuss in screening the proposed solution is the profitability. Profitability. Conducting a product profitability analysis forecasts the profitability of the new product that is planning to market. It allows the entrepreneur to isolate and solve issues that can affect the profit margins by proving essential knowledge to adjust the product to maximize profitability. There are 3 keys to analyze the profitability of the proposed solution. The first key is to determine the true cost of production. The second key is to test the market. The third key is to find the safe spot. The first key is to determine the true cost of production. The true cost of production is essential to involve all the cost of getting the product into the custody of the customer. There are a handful of things you must take into account before launching your business. The first involves the cost in getting the product into the hands of the customer. As an extremely basic example, consider the case of someone who makes yarn-based crafts as a small side business. She might pay $5 for 2 balls of yarn, from which she creates an item that she sells for $35. The ultimate profit, $30, is impressive for a hobbyist, but not particularly significant in the greater financial scheme of things. Now apply the same logic to goods whose production is more extensive. A company that makes t-shirts is paying for more than just the cost of the material. Most likely, it has to employ people with access to equipment, which in turn is kept in a building, which in turn requires electricity to operate, and so on. One of the biggest mistakes of an entrepreneurs make is to not account for the time they spend working. Eventually, you need to hire someone to take on your role. That will increase your cost. Bigger profits require bigger outlays in terms of initial investment. As explained on Entrepreneur, running a business comes with many